WMUZ 103.5, The Light, Detroit made Bible strong. Happy Saturday morning to you. It's Mac. It is the Home and Health Show, and I think the opportunity to come in here and do this on Saturday for the community is a real treat and a real honor, and we have some wonderful clients who have agreed to be part of this program to come in and educate you guys and teach you guys about certain aspects of your life when things are getting unbalanced. And there's no better that I know than Dave and Julie from Brain Life Center who join us right now. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Mac.
Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I appreciate what you guys do. And we've got a listening audience out there this morning that wants to know all about it. Tell me what Brain Life Center is, what you do, and we're going to go through the whole gamut today.
Well, imagine a technology that's computer reliant, is using basically all the advances of computer technology to create a mirror that the brain can use to self-correct. Now imagine the simplicity and the comfort of sitting in a chair, listening to your brain live based on a set of sensors collecting data, translating this information into a sound, and so you're actually listening to your brain live. The brain figures this out, self-corrects, and the end result is people who haven't slept for many years, they're sleeping deep, restful sleep.
Wow.
They're waking up rested. It's life-changing
for
somebody who doesn't sleep.
I think one of the big things going on in our society right now, and it seems to be pretty common over at least the last, I can think of the last 15 years, that people have talked about their inability to sleep, their inability to lay down on their pillow, even after a long day at work, even after tedious tasks, even after chasing their kids in sports after the workday's done. They're completely exhausted. They lay down and ping. All of a sudden, it's awake and you're restless and your thoughts are going in all these different directions. And it's almost like your brain, the circuits in your brain are firing improperly to not allow you to be able to go into that type of mode where your body begins to relax and you go to sleep. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's amazing because with a lot of computer technology, we can track things, we can see things we haven't been able to see in the past, and so they're making a lot of discoveries about brain function.
Yeah.
And one of the things they're finding is that there are measurable imbalances that cause problems like not being able to sleep, anxiety, people with those dark moods that they can't shake, right? Lack of motivation.
Sure.
There's a whole host of things that when the brain's not functioning properly, you're experiencing it in a very, very negative way. And imagine in today's society with, the access to the computer, with information technologies, screens everywhere, we're being just bombarded with information, and it seems to be creating more problems with sleep.
So how in the world did you guys fall into this kind of technology where you believed in it so much you dedicated your life to it, and the proof is in the pudding? You've been helping people for a long time get readjusted into life, for lack of a better word. And there's, as Dave mentioned, many different facets of anxiety and sleeplessness and thoughts that are rambling and going on. And it's a natural healing process.
Right.
Which
That's
is
the amazing
pretty
thing.
cool, man.
The brain is sort of set up to self-regulate and self-correct.
Well,
and sometimes you just have to give it a little extra information and it gets busy.
Well, I guess it shouldn't be that big of a surprise. We break a bone, it heals. We tear a muscle, it heals. Why wouldn't the brain, the most powerful mechanism in our body, maybe other than our hearts, not be able to heal itself?
It is amazing. And, we've made this comparison, but you get a little cut on your hand, you put a Band-Aid on there.
Right.
We know that the amazing complexity that's healing that cut is not the Band-Aid. But we know that our little Band-Aid supports it in doing all of that.
As it heals.
We are supporting the brain and doing something quite remarkable, and we get to sit back in awe and just watch it happen.
And the rewarding thing, I would imagine, is to be able to see a child or an adult, maybe even adult who struggled with some type of a learning or concentration disability through school. I mean, there's hundreds of stories, myself included, where you can say, man, I just couldn't stay focused in school and nothing ever stuck. And,
that's right.
No matter how hard I studied, I would always go into these testing, environments stressed out and anxious. Like for instance, maybe a high school kid getting ready for college. That's really kind of like not only unprepared because they don't feel confident in their own mind, but may not have the ability to soak up that information. And it could be a misfiring going on in the brain.
That's right. This is our 10th year in the Detroit area. We've helped thousands of people. I can't tell you how many young people have come in with these kinds of issues, like the heavy focus and concentration problems, where it's really messing things up in their school and their social life. And this has a pivotal change. Suddenly, the trajectory of their life changes dramatically.
Hey guys, we're taking a quick time out. Coming back, Dave's cardiologist has some wonderful insight on how this technology works as the Home and Health Show continues here on WMUZ 103.5 The Light, Detroit made, Bible strong. Do not forget that the folks at Brain Life Center are in business today. They're offering $100 off their assessment. It's 248-922-9490. Back in just a moment.
Now we return with Mac, Julie Lamphere, and Dave Sanders from Brain Life Center on the Home and Health Show here on WMUZ 103.5 The Light, Detroit made, Bible strong.
WMUZ 103.5 The Light, Detroit made, Bible strong. Good morning. I'm Mac. Thanks for being here. It's the Home and Health Show. David and Julie from Brain Life Center. You know what? Talk about your locations before we hear from the good doctor here and about how much success he's had. Tell people where you are and how they can reach out to you.
We are in Auburn Hills, right off I-75, extremely convenient to get to. So if anyone gives us a call today and takes advantage of that $100 off, we're going to send them a map and all the information they need to get to us.
All right, cool. Again, that phone number, 248-922-9490. During our first segment, we were talking about how Brain Life technology works, what it's like to be in an assessment, and what's happening in a session, and better yet, what's happening out of the session. And you've got a friend of yours. Explain what's going on with this person.
Well, this was kind of fun because I have a cardiologist I go to regularly, right? I'm in my 50s, and his name's Dr. Prasad. And he's a terrific cardiologist. He's very meticulous in measuring things, and I've always enjoyed him. But what's interesting, we've talked over the years about what we do at Brain Life Center. But he never came in until my family practitioner had sent his family and got great results. And he's like, Dr. Prasad, you got to check it out. You got to go there. So according to my family practitioner, Dr. Prasad was feeling a lot of tension, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, more so than he thought was appropriate or healthy, right? Well, finally, my cardiologist, he comes in, he does sessions, and it is even a surprise to me what a major turnaround it was. And it was a real shocker to him. So often, when people go through this, they don't fully recognize how good it can be when the brain's functioning optimally until they experience the contrast of how it is better now, right? And I remember him sharing this story with his brother. He had a phone call with his brother who lives in Texas. His brother's a geologist. His brother immediately called me after that call and said, I need to know what's happened to my brother. My brother, his name's Raj. But so it was just fascinating. He ends up flying in with his son. So now this is my cardiologist brother and nephew fly in from Texas to do the same technology. So we actually brought a clip. My doctor, Prasad, he put together a little clip for us, sharing his story and what he experienced. And then we have a little clip too from his brother talking about how kind of unusual it was to see such a major change and improvement with his brother.
There were times where I was fearful for no reason at all. As a result, I used to have a lot of fearful thoughts. It was almost like I was making a horror movie every night at night. This is one of the many things that kind of bothered me. So I have been very, very happy, and I feel very different. I feel peaceful, calm, and my concentration in the workplace has improved significantly. Family and friends are very much surprised at how different I am.
So it's interesting, when I mentioned his brother coming in from Texas, his brother, when he came here, he did a little testimonial about his experience with his brother, my cardiologist.
Wow. That's an amazing kind of turnaround to hear somebody who said literally he was like living in fear. That's a pretty heavy statement to make, and to be able to turn that around and have that fear and anxiety out of his life is amazing. Now, what is this that we have here?
So this is his brother, just sharing a little bit of how he experienced my cardiologist, his brother.
It's a real miracle. I mean, he has absolutely transformed. He really was very anxious. He was really always consumed. He was stressed. Couldn't really, have a decent conversation with him. Once he went through this whole thing, all of a sudden, he was a totally changed guy. I mean, even the look on his face, went from being puckered up and stressed to just being normal. It works. That's all I can say. It's it was really a testament to the human brain. Really, sure. I think we can all sit here and take credit for it, but it's the guy up here inside that's really doing the hard work.
I can tell you, how he says that his face changed. This is something we experience day in and day out in our office, and it gives us so much joy when we meet someone. They can have just an angry way about them or a concerned way about them, and they're very uptight and their shoulders are taut, and then all of a sudden they come in and they're pleasant and they're smiling and they're comfortable in their own skin. This happens all the time, and Dr. Prasad, I experienced that personally with him, and it's just amazing. And his own patients are telling him he's more present and how much the more they appreciate their visits, and his business has grown since he's done this.
It's interesting because as a person like myself who's dealt with anxiety and depression for a quarter century or more, I completely understand what he's saying, because you become so focused on your own energy. You become so focused on keeping yourself from going into whatever that is. You don't even realize that you're already that, and that your body language is giving off such an expression of what's going on in your brain. And you're right, having been to you guys and having an assessment myself and going through the program, there is a clarity that happens. There is a fog. It's hard to describe what it is, and I've tried to describe it before, but and it's not like somebody comes in and gives you a card and it makes you feel better or something like that. There's a brain clarity that you didn't even realize that you had. Right. And it does. It's almost like a 60-pound stone rolling off between the back of your shoulders, and suddenly you realize that it's okay to have eye contact with somebody. You don't have to look at the ground to have a discussion. You don't have to shuffle your hands and be nervous and not really hear what they're saying, because you're focusing on yourself, not falling over or whatever you think you're going to do in your brain because of all these symptoms that are happening. So I totally relate to that clarity. It's an amazing feeling.
It is incredible. I had one gentleman say, I feel like, and I didn't know I was carrying this, but I feel like you took a big backpack full of bricks off my back.
Yes.
And when that was removed, I had no idea, but wow, I feel more relaxed, lighter. And it was really interesting as his patient to go in. I didn't know he was battling with that. Right. He managed to work through life and just deal with it.
It's easy to build a wall.
But when
as a person going through it.
When I saw that change as his patient, he's smiling. His whole body was loose. He's more engaged. I was amazed.
Well, I'll tell you, another aspect of this that I can share with you guys that I found out is when you begin to feel that clarity, you don't focus so much on the negative. And you don't even really realize how that clarity allows you to respond in another way to life.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's very interesting. It's again, it's something that if some of these symptoms we're talking about, that you feel that, you have to get an assessment at 248-922-9490 at Brain Life Center, because listen, I'm just an average Joe, paycheck to paycheck guy who's been doing radio for 30 years. I'm in no labor job. I'm not curing cancer. I'm not trying to find a cure for AIDS. I'm not saving lives. I'm just talking into a microphone. And if I can get stressed out and blown out and find clarity, listen, those of you that really work for a living out there are going to seriously are going to find it to be beneficial. And everything that the doctor said and everything that I'm saying to you is true. And when you feel healthier and you're not bogged down with the what ifs, what's going to happen? Am I going to be able to go into this environment because I feel socially awkward? I don't want to be perceived as being somebody who's stuck up because I'm a wallflower, but I'm scared to go in there and talk because I don't know what's going to happen to my brain. Once all that clears and that weight rolls off your back, your life begins, you see things from different colors. You don't automatically become a new person. You have to work really, really hard at the new things you're discovering. What you're doing is you guys are providing the clarity, you as the person, as you begin to get this clarity, have to learn to build confidence into yourself and rewire what's already been there for so many years due to what's going on in your brain that you really had no control over.
Yeah, it's beautiful because we talk a lot about how there's this little window of opportunity. People go through this and suddenly they're seeing things like they were meant to see things.
It's true. WMUZ 103.5, The Light, Detroit Made, Bible Strong, returning to the Home and Health Show on this Saturday morning with my friend David and Julie. And they are doing great work at Brain Life Center. We have had a magnificent discussion today about some really important aspects of your health. And having gone through their program and having seen the results myself, I can say honestly that it was a life changer for me. I was coming in with some pretty heavy stuff, and the idea that the clouds can be parted led me to different avenues of getting myself healthier than I've been in years. But it really began at Brain Life Center. It really began with that opportunity to say, whoa, my brain's clearer. What's going on here? You know, I didn't know that could happen. And again, you have to take it upon yourself once you begin to heal and to feel better, to take your life in a different direction. It's not a magic pill that you take. But I'm telling you, when that window opens up and the air's coming in and it's not stale and it's fresh and you can breathe it in and you're not uptight, man, it is an amazing feeling. And these folks can provide that for you.
Yeah, and I just want to say, you know, you mentioned these young people. We do love getting in early. The earlier, the better, because when we talk about this pivotal time in life, they go through this change, and then they're not having to deal with all those issues, and you get 6 months out with that, a year out with that. You're talking about somebody in high school or junior high or elementary. When we get in that early, it's wonderful because they don't have to suffer for 10 years, 20 years. I mean, we deal like you came in when you were in your 50s, right?
Yeah, I sure did.
Wouldn't it have been nice if we could have resolved that 40 years ago?
I think that was one of the first things I might have said to you guys, like, man, I wish I would have known about this 25 years ago, because I would have suffered. I would have kept myself from suffering a whole lot of emotional pain. I would have had a whole lot of moments in my life that were a lot happier than they may have been, or I would have kept myself out of situations that I didn't realize were going to make me unhappy.
Yeah.
And clarity brings that, man.
It's so unnecessary. And I'm just thinking there's people out there that are not sleeping, and they know it. There's people out there who have anxiety. They're struggling with those dark moods, and they're not lifting. They're not motivated. Something's wrong, and they know it. And the focus on concentration, all ages, but a lot of these kids, it's not necessary. There really is an opportunity to turn that around without all the meds, and something non-medical.
And there's no reason to wait until something catastrophic happens. We as human beings tend to say, nah, I can struggle through it. I can live on 5 hours sleep. I can live on 4.5 hours sleep. And the years go on and the years go on, and the caffeine and the drinks and all this, the little pills and pep to keep you going, that catches up with you one day, and pop, something happens, and you're in your tracks, and you're going, wait a minute, why didn't I? So why don't you? Your opportunity is right now.
We wish if people could see what we've seen, experience what we've experienced, we'd have people lining out the door. I just don't know how to tell people. We're trying to make it easy. We have a $150 assessment that we're going to do for $50. Just check us out. There's just come see for yourself. You're going to meet an amazing group of people, and we just really want to help. We really just want to talk. We want to take this conversation further and talk to them specifically about their situation. That's all we hope to do. Well, and then God will take it from there. We'll know what's right.
I think a really important part of this conversation too, and I think, I hope at least that the people that are listening this morning feel that, is a purpose and an education. You know, I think a lot of people are I don't want to say the word unwilling, but need to be educated on a lot of things as far as health goes.
Right.
You know, there's a tremendous fear amongst people when it comes to thinking about technology and how things are changing, and some of our older part of our demographic are slaves to their personal physicians.
Right.
And I'm not trying to cut down any physicians, but you know, there are people of a certain age, when your doctor says this, that's the only way it's going to be. That's it. He tells me to take a pill, I'm taking a pill. You know, he tells me I need to not eat pasta anymore. I'm not going to eat pasta anymore. You know, whatever. You know, there's a million different scenarios. But we live in a world now, friends, that for people that suffer for this stuff, from this stuff, myself included, technology is there. And it is proven that it is working. And if you can't change your life for the better, man, you're going to suffer. You're going to suffer. And God's put us here for a mission, for a purpose, you know, and that is to do what you two do, and that's help through what you do. It's what I do through this microphone. We are all here to glorify Him. And be it through technology, be it through whatever you do. So if you're feeling you're not participating in that part of your faith life, those of you that are listening, whatever it may be, step into the opportunities that are given to you to straighten all those things out. So, all right.
Awesome.
You guys are great, man. Love you both. Thanks for the work you do. So now is a great time to get the process started, to get your questions answered, and to feel better. And to have a great active life. 248-922-9490, Brain Life Center. Dave, you got some social media places that people can go if they want to?
Well, yeah, they can go to the brainlifecenter.com, brainlifecenter.com, and we've got probably 30 to 40 video testimonials there.
Terrific.
There's a whole section just on the technology if they want to dive in deeper. But I can't stress enough, if you come to us and do an assessment, that's what it's designed for. That's where you get to experience everything personally.
That takes care of things. Have a great weekend. It's Mac, WMUZ 103.5, The Light, Detroit Made, Bible Strong. Thanks for being part of the Home and Health Show.